Thank you. Yes, our mission is to create the most inspiring online shopping experience for about 400,000 customers every day. Mostly musicians, but also producers, stage technicians, podcasters, fog machine operators, even yogis who buy singing bowls for their meditation practice. And yeah, we're a little proud because last year we reached the milestone of 1 billion euro in sales. Our team consists of 53 developers, designers, project managers, coaches, sysadmins, and practically anyone you need to run a web shop. Our values, and it's important to me, are real values that are lived and honored in the team, and they feel quite naturally. Trust, respect, transparency. I have to look. Chance for responsibility, and so what drives the whole company Thomann is the customer centricity. These are our mission, our team, and our values. But how and where do we work? As in almost every company whose employees work on their laptops all day, we sent our teams to home office in March 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. At that point, however, it wasn't a big change for us because our employees had been working on a team level remotely since the end of 2015. Yeah, and that's the structure in which we work. Our teams sit in Treppendorf. It's Thomann's headquarters in Franconia, southern Germany, including Europe's largest music store, our hotline, our service center, and lots of warehouses. Then we have two subsidiaries, Thomann Bits and Beats in Erlangen and Thomann Code and Cookie Factory in Berlin, and we have two partner companies with whom we work very closely, Coding Pioneers in Iserlohn and Sunlab in Aschaffenburg. And it doesn't matter where a member of the web team is employed, everyone has the same rights, duties, and opportunities. Why did we decide to have a cross-location team, and how did we get there? Our headquarters in Treppendorf are in the middle of nowhere, and it was very, very hard to lure digital talent to the Franconian countryside. So we decided to build subsidiaries in metropolitan areas such as Nuremberg and Berlin, and establish a network of partner companies that recruit and train employees for our teams. During the pandemic, we took this benefit to the next level and started recruiting across Germany, even in cities where we don't have any offices. At first, we were not sure if this would work and if it would work to integrate full remote people into our teams, but we took the chance, and it turned out quite well. And that's the first real opportunity of digitization in our talk. Talent can be recruited everywhere. And this is so the rough milestones of the transformation process during the first month of the pandemic. And we see them as opportunities that every company can benefit from if they trust their employees and cultivate their intrinsic motivation. First thing, so shortly after all teams were in the home office, we noticed that location-specific dynamics were becoming less important, and the web team began to see itself as one cross-located team. Suddenly, everyone was equal in the living room or in the kitchen, at their mobile workspace. Small location-based groups have been broken up, prejudices have been eliminated, and everyone has started to open up to others. Another positive effect was that team members began to share their knowledge with each other, not just with their office buddies, but with their previously not so well known and not so well liked colleagues from the other sites and cities. At the same time, everyone noticed they could learn something from the other and thereby acquire new skills and competencies. Now to the third point, bonding. As everybody, we temporarily lost the opportunity to talk to each other at the coffee machine in the offices and so on, but we have won a cross-location team, and that in a significantly shorter period of time than would have been possible without the forced equality through home office. Now people from different locations who didn't even talk to each other a year ago share inside jokes, memories, and even their free time. In order to achieve this, we had to provide our team the perfect working environment, and Julia will go into further detail about this.
Yeah, thank you. So when it comes to this perfect environment where you can actually work, we're actually building this on two main pillars, which we label as enabling and grooming, as you can see on the bottom. And I would just like to pinpoint here that at this point when we started working on this part of culture, we already had set our values, our mission, where do we want to go, what does our product look like. So this is what we started working on pretty much in the ending. What you see here, enabling and grooming. And after enabling these values, you can actually groom them and bring them to the next step by actually making everyone a part of it. You first start off with the basics, infrastructure, make sure everyone can work. I will not go into detail too much. It's about hardware, software, surroundings, support, VPN, whatever. Just make sure everyone can get their job done without any limitations. So when you got that set up, you can actually start enabling and later on grooming communication. Jöran already pointed out equality of arms is very important when you transfer your communication from the office to any digital space. Because if one person is working from a remote situation, everyone should do so. There are a lot of misunderstandings if people share the same room and others don't, and they're still in the same call, because a lot can be transferred by a tiny gaze across the table that others then do not catch up, and they just miss out on that part of communication. So that's really important for us. Also, you should establish fixed formats that shift office communication. Like if you used to meet every month in your office to have an assembly about your most recent developments, have that digital. And maybe from this shift in communication to a digital space, some new team values might emerge. In our case, I think we added some rules to our how do we want to work together. I think we will get to that later, which rules we actually added to our set that we all wanted to stick to. And also, if there are new problems evolving, solve them digitally. If you add something to your team manifesto, make sure everyone can access it digitally. Then the last part is about really grooming team culture and bringing it to the next level. Do it on a daily basis and also check it in the long run. First of all, make specific room for that. Like a team daily might take 10 minutes more from a remote situation because maybe someone has a cat running in the background and everyone is like, ooh, excited, they got a pet, yeah. But otherwise, these 10 minutes would be spent chatting at the coffee machine in the office. So what? Take these 10 minutes, that's fine. Just check that it doesn't get out of hand for more formal appointments, because that can really get annoying if you want to really work on a topic, solve a specific problem, make sure you have an agenda and walk through it, because if everyone just keeps distracted by, Monstera plants in the backgrounds of home offices, that gets annoying at some point. That's pretty much it. I just brought a quick example from a friend of mine whose team kind of missed out on digitizing their team culture. I translated the chat on the right side in English, just in case someone doesn't get it. They really missed out on the chance. My friend got really unhappy because nobody felt responsible for actually transferring their culture to the digital space that they were working in. He got really unhappy, and basically 3 months later, LinkedIn asked me to congratulate him on his latest job update with a different company. He left. So yeah, that's just a short side mark on why it's actually important. So what does happen when you work like this? This all sounded very simple, but what happens when you just move to a digital space, you encounter problems, that's for sure. So these are not all of the problems we encountered. We promise there are a lot more, but just to give you a bit of a hands-on, these are the most frequently ones and the solutions that we took on to solve these. The first one on the left, I think we actually talked about it in our table discussion. The sorry, I was distracted. Classic. Like, you're in your home office, your surrounding is like very private, you have your phone right there, nobody's watching you, and that's right where we intervened. Nobody's watching you. We agreed that everyone turns their camera on always, no matter how short the call is. You always turn on your camera. It's also kind of motivating not to hang out in your PJs all day because your colleagues can actually see you. Like, really try it. Yeah, we before already had the cultural agreement within our entire team that it's really not cool to be on the phone or to write emails during meetings. So this is why turning the camera on actually helped us. The second most commonly encountered mistake is technical issues. So how do I join this call? We would always have a test run with new tools, try out all of the features, try everything you're trying to do with that later on. A tiny coffee call will do, and then you're good to get started on point when your meeting actually needs to take place. The third one is chirp. You hear nothing. You're talking, you're asking a question, nobody answers. Especially like if it's a large group of people in the call, this might really turn out to be an issue. We have a couple different solutions for this one. First of all, we always have a host for every call who keeps track of the agenda, who makes people move on if they're getting a bit lost on a sub topic. He collects them, they initiate and spark the conversation if necessary, so that's really important to have. It can be done by anyone, really. Just pick a person. The next thing we really like to use for team dailies is just pick the next one to speak. That way it just feels less high schoolish. There is not one person standing in front like, you're next, you're next, you're next, but everyone just picks the next one, then it feels a bit more natural. The last thing is tacit agreement. If you ask 20 people, how are you feeling? If I ask you, how are you feeling? Great, yeah, two people answered me out of how many? 20, 25. That's why we... Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it wasn't. Great, now that is 3 out of 25. What we do is we do not ask everyone, but we ask people to speak up if they disagree when we're trying to reach a decision. That really helps. Just be careful because there might be situations where not everyone feels comfortable speaking up, so make sure that is given before you use this. The fourth problem we encountered actually concerns equipment. You want to make sure that your digital communication reaches as high of a standard as it gets. You want it to be as close to office communication as it can be. So please make sure that equipment fulfills certain standards, because nothing is more annoying than a colleague who has to like shout in the direction of their MacBook because they do not have a proper working microphone. That gets really annoying. I have first-hand experience with that. But yeah, that's it about our problems that we encountered. And now we will continue with some tools and tricks that helped us along the way. First thing that we implemented like years ago, I think end of 2017, was Slack. We use this for our daily communication. That might concern things like saying hello in the morning, saying goodbye when we leave, so you know whether everyone is there or not. We even say Mahlzeit when we go have lunch, just the normal kinds of things that you would do in an office. But Slack can do a lot more for you. Like you can actually write code for your own bots. You can also implement existing bots, so they remind you of things. They remind you of appointments that you have. You can keep track, like we as a team can keep track of deployments, of releases, of what we're currently working on. That really comes in handy to keep everyone updated without having to share an office. If you're really missing the office atmosphere, Slack is currently working on something called huddles, where you can join rooms and be there all the time. And if you're not willing to wait for that, just switch to Discord. Because there you can actually have your own tiny spaces where people can be like they are in an office. You basically hear everyone's sneeze because they're there all of the time. Another thing that is really nice about this is you can see which app people are currently in. Like here, my colleague played PHP Storm for a solid 23 hours. I think he was idle some of that time, but it's always funny to see that. Yeah, you can even see like what your colleagues are listening to on Spotify. And if you do not want to use Discord for that, just have a joint playlist. This is like our office playlist, where everyone can just drop their stuff. Also comes in handy if you're going on business trips in a car at some point again, and you wanna listen to some shared music. Just use that.
Yeah, also we meet quite regularly on Friday evenings and play fun online games like Gartic Phone, Scribble.io, Among Us, Fridge Guessing, Quiplash, drink a bit alcohol during these meetings and chat until Saturday morning. We also have weekly coffee calls, tried things like PowerPoint karaoke and remote cooking classes. And it turned out quite well to provide a motto and hand out some goodies so everyone can get in the right mood for some of these events. This creates something to talk about in the weeks after, and everyone can engage no matter which job or position they have. Last point, you cannot pick up your colleagues' vibes as easily as in the office. You don't hear them sigh at 2 p.m. or see them smile at their screens when their plans fall into place. And sure, you know how they feel, and we're doing this with a little help from Google Forms and monthly surveys. If some of the statistics and the comments in the survey seem funny, we have a chat with the respective people, and this way we always keep an eye on the actual needs of the team and get inspiration for new formats or tools to further groom the digitization of our team.
Yep, so that was it.
Thank you.
Yep, that was it. Thank you for listening. Always feel free to get in touch. We're happy for new connections to anywhere. We're always happy to exchange on these topics. LinkedIn, email, whatever you prefer. And if you like the way we work, we're hiring, by the way. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's like everyone sends in a picture of their fridge to one person who's like the keeper of the secrets, and then you just show a picture to the entire group of people, and they have to guess who the fridge belongs to.
Yeah.
Well, that way you can actually find out a lot about your colleagues and also find topics to engage in with them.
Any more questions? Besides the fridge.
Oh, that's Hollow Knight. You can get it for Xbox, for computer. It's a really nice jump and run game.